I'm Ann Kroeker.
And I'm Charity Singleton Craig.
And together we are Kroeker and Craig, co-authors of the book On Being a Writer.
Today we're on chapter 5, and the title of this chapter is quite simply Write. And this is the chapter where we tell you that you need to sit down and write if you're going to be a writer. And it seems silly and funny, and it's kind of the joke, I think, of all writers, but one of the hardest parts of being a writer a lot of times is sitting down and getting the work done. How many times have I sat down to write and ended up 30 minutes later still on Facebook or tweeting or checking my email? And so this week or this month or however you are sectioning out this book, this chapter is on doing the work, sitting down and writing. So there's also, again, as Anna said, and we both talked about in the previous chapters, there are lots of questions here to help you probe why it is that writing can be so difficult. One of the questions I'm going to ask Anne today is about her own writing. And here's the question. Do you talk to others about what you're writing when a project is in its embryo stage? Or how early is it that you talk about your writing to other people?
It is a really good question. When it's in the embryo stage, I think that's when I might ask a few questions of somebody like you to kind of get some initial ideas, as sort of early pre-writing research, just to kind of probe the idea in general. But I don't like to let on too soon that I've got this big project in mind, because that seems like it always just cuts it down, shuts it down. And then even as I get further down the road, beyond the embryo stage and into, I don't know, whatever's next, the formation stage, then again, I don't want to talk about it too soon, because something about the talking of the idea seems to steal what I need to write. So if I speak it, it's like I steal what I'm going to write from my brain. And it's out in another form, and it's very difficult then to find the words that need to go on the page. And so I find that I do best when I don't talk about it too terribly much and sort it out in my mind. I can ask questions about the project of people, especially as I'm gathering ideas for a chapter or trying to form chapters. Yeah. But to actually just, talk openly about it does kind of squelch the inspiration that I need when I'm putting those words down through the keyboard onto the screen and eventually onto the page. And another thing that can happen is I think it can kind of pass along to other people in a way that I have actually had ideas. I'm not going to say they were stolen, because they weren't, but I think it inspires other people, and then it shows up in their work. And it feels like I gave it away, which I'm not opposed to giving ideas away, especially if it's not something that I end up using. But if it's something that I felt like was mine, this was mine to write, I need to keep it to myself and hold it close enough so that I can let it fully develop inside myself, so that it becomes a project all its own.
So maybe you would say, even when you are ready to start talking about the project, you may talk about it in different ways with different people.
Yes, exactly, because somebody might be a potential reader, and I might ask them in a way that would produce a response that would be a reader response, whereas I might talk to you as a professional about the writing process that would inform that chapter. So
great. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoy your discussion about actually sitting down to do the work, and we also hope that you've actually sat down and done some work in the last few days. And we'll see you again in chapter 6.